Hello, this is my TRS-80 Model 4, and it has only ever briefly been shown on video on my channel, and that's because I got it as a parts unit, as a package deal with my TRS-80 Model 1 that I did make a video about a long time ago now. And what was complicated about this machine was that it came without floppy drives. No, this was not a cassette model. The drives were just missing, which was really unfortunate because Tandem TM102A floppy drives are not particularly easy to get a hold of. So what I ended up doing was sacrificing one of my IBM 5150s to put its drives into this thing, because these machines are extremely difficult to work on. The CRT is mounted to the plastic shell, which lifts up and away, but leaves the motherboard, which runs all the way along the back, in place. This means that the neck of the tube goes right up against the motherboard, and it's very easy to clip it and blow it up. So I put the drives in once and didn't ever want to open it again, except for one reason. And that reason was this. This is a TRS-80 Model 4 high-resolution video board. This is a reproduction made by Ian Maverick, and it is excellent. I have seen one of these in operation in person. It is really cool. It provides the ability to do full pixel drawing capabilities on the TRS-80 Model 4, which normally has to use character manipulation to do graphics, if I remember correctly. Now, I have wanted one of these because it is a period accurate upgrade to the machine and is just a really cool add-on. But I didn't want to put this in unless I also had an option to fix one problematic part. That is the other reason this thing was shown in a video of mine. And that is the IBM branded drive in here that I showed in the 4 floppy drives video. And that's always bugged me because IBM branded tandem drives, just they have an IBM logo on it, and it looks so weird seeing it in this thing. So more recently, I managed to get another Tandem TM102A drive that is not IBM branded, and I'm going to be putting that in here as well. So today, we're going to be upgrading my TRS-80 Model 4 with the high-resolution graphics board, as well as replacing the awful-looking IBM drive in here. So here is the card up close before we get this installed, and it's really trivial to install this card once you have the machine open. On the back, we just have a single IDC header socket. That's it. You plug that in, you're good to go. But you do need to connect this little grabber cable over to one leg on another chip. I don't actually remember what that goes to. We're going to look that up before I am done here. But it's a very simple board to install. It's just getting to the point that you can install it that is the hair-raising stuff. And also, before we open this thing up, here you can see the horrible IBM faceplate on the drive. It was a good way of getting the computer working initially, but yeah, it has been bothering me nonstop every time I look at the machine since I put it in there. So I'm really looking forward to getting that thing removed today. So those are the things that we are going to do to this machine today. But before we start working on it, let me plug it in and turn it on one more time, just so that I can at least see that screen in all of its glory before anything awful happens to it. I do actually have a disc in there for the okay, well, it doesn't like the disc for the Model 4 TRS-DOS. I don't know why it's not booting it. All right, so it doesn't like that disc. That's fine. But the machine is working, so at least there's that. Now, let's open it up and just try to keep it working. All right, now to open a TRS-80 Model 4, generally what you're trying to do is get the top off, up, rotated over onto its side. There are connections that go to a CRT board that is mounted on the left side of the case beside the tube, and then the main board that extends straight up from the back, like I mentioned. You can see there the RF shielding around the motherboard, and it goes all the way back behind the tube area here. So yeah, that thing is just super duper close to the neck board of the CRT. Now to remove the top of the case, there are screws along the bottom that need to be removed. So what I'm gonna do to start here is get a blanket, put it over this thing so I don't damage the paint any more than it already has been, and flip it over onto its side so that we can get to all of those. For giggles, while we're here looking at the bottom, we can see my serial number, 68251. There's usually a date production stamp mark on here as well, I think. Yeah, they're 1984 on that one. Beyond that, we have the screws that we need to remove. I guess the ones up front are missing. So there's one there, there, and there that I'm going to need to remove. This thing is missing a lot of screws, but that kind of makes sense because I bought this as like a partial parts unit, so that I don't find that surprising. The two halves are now loose relative to each other with the removal of that screw. So I'm going to lower these down together. And now we get the fun of trying to separate them. I have added a light here as I'm working on this so that I can kind of see in this area back here. One of the things you can do when working on this is I believe you can look over this floppy drive and see inside of the computer as you are lifting it. So I'm going to just lift it straight up. So yeah, you can kind of see back there, but I'm now going to hug this forward. Clear. There, you can see that is the amount of space. That is my hand touching the neck of the tube and the back of the case. And then this side of here has this thing, and that is right where the neck of the tube goes against. It is ridiculous how tight this thing is. Hopefully that explains my trepidation to opening this thing, because it is millimeters away from snapping the neck of the tube. It is absolutely terrible to work on. All right, so for the moment, we do not need the monitor, so I'm going to remove it by disconnecting the video board interface cable here. Watch out, this connector can be a little fragile, especially that part right there. I have had to repair that, I think on the DT1, actually. So there's that, and then the grounding tab. But with those two things removed, this is completely free, and we're going to take this out of here so we don't have to deal with it. And that just leaves us with the rest of the machine, which is a lot easier to work on. Now, I have been in here before because, I mean, I put the floppy drives in here. So I did already remove the refa capacitors from the power supply. But yeah, we are going to replace the top drive here, like I mentioned, and we need to get inside the RF shielding here. So I think we'll start with working our way into that first. Looking this over, I will say this part is at least intelligently designed. We don't have to undo any connectors to remove the shielding, so that's pretty nice. I wonder how many people's computers are missing this part, actually, because this definitely seems like the kind of thing that a bunch of people would not bother putting back in after they take it out. And there we are. All right, so when it comes to installing the high-res expansion board, if I remember right, you just kind of plug it in right there. It looks like I might need to fix some bends on these, but I'm gonna go look it up first to make sure that I know where to hook the connector wire to. So let me do that before we call this done. Oh, I wonder if the RF shield is still gonna fit after that. I might have to join the people who removed that. Uh-oh. All right, now before we install the high-res board, I wanted to go through the website one more time here just to make sure I knew exactly how to install it. And by one more time, I mean the first time, because I just bought it because I knew I wanted it. So this goes over the two different varieties of this. Actually, there's several different ones. I believe that's the Model 4P one. The gate array and non-gate array, I think, share the same model, at least based on the installation video that I will mention again here in a moment. And then there is a dedicated Model 2 version, which is really cool there. And then there is software available for this from here as well. And there's a couple there that I'm particularly excited about, especially that Mandelbrot one. That's really, really cool. But what we need to do is install this. Now, Ian has a video here that demonstrates how to install it, which I wanted to double check because a installation and usage manual is also provided. I'm guessing this is an OCR version of an original printed manual, but this goes over two different versions of this board that apparently existed. So there is the original version here, and then there is the new version, and these clip on to different chips for whatever signal this is. I don't actually know, but we are using a modified version of the original version here, not of the new version. So we need to clip onto pin 2 of U13. We also need to remove this jumper here, which apparently disables the extended graphics board entirely if we don't. So we need to go remove that jumper and then pin 2 of U13 according to the directions and the video that Ian has produced as well. Okay, so we need to remove E15 jumper there. I'm just gonna turn that sideways, put it on one pin. Then all we have to do, put the board on that header. Easy enough. And then clip this to pin 2 of U13. Perfect. And there we are. That's it. So for clarification, in case anyone is following along at home here, pin 2 is on the left side, the second one down, and you just clip it onto there like that. And the jumper you need to remove is just this one, E15. You are very fine putting it on sideways, only blocking one like that. All right, now that this thing is on and sticking out more, I'm curious here, will the RF shield still fit? The answer is actually no. It really, really doesn't. Okay. So yeah, right there, and then we're about half a centimeter away from being able to screw it in. Now, this is just a piece of aluminum. We can bend it, possibly, and just kind of, you know, whatever, put it on. And I will probably do that, but that's good to know. All right, now for the other objective, which is to remove the IBM branded drive here. So we have two screws on the side that both retain the drive and hold the RF shield over the drive. Radio Shack was really overreacting after the Model 1. So there's that. Now, this is a proper Shugart implementation of these drives. So the things that I need to pay attention to are the termination packs on here, which this one does not have one, but the one down here does, and the ID jumper, which this one matches what I've got here. So that's good. This top drive is basically the same as the IBM spec, although I think normally there's supposed to be a termination pack. I'm not too sure what's going on there. So fun fact, if you're not aware, the Model 4 was available without floppy drives. And when you bought it that way, you're missing this internal structure piece here, and you're missing the floppy control board, which actually sits between this and the motherboard down in here. There are multiple layers of boards all sandwiched together here. So anyone who has a cassette version of this that wants to be able to put floppy drives in it needs to reproduce this structure and the control board there. So it's kind of complicated to do that. And I believe there are reproduction internal frames now for this as well. And I think the floppy controller might have been reproduced too. But it's just a little weird thing to note there. If you have one of these that did not originally come with floppy drives, you got a lot more work ahead of you than just putting floppy drives in. But at least mine was equipped with the floppy hardware, so I can put this drive in there and we should be good. there we are. 2 non-IBM branded floppy drives. That is such a nice thing to see. All right, I have the monitor reconnected here, and I'm prepping a cleaning disk so we can try putting in some operating system disks. Well, this is Tristos 6.0 with high-res basic on it, I think, and then the Mandelbrot fractal generator program. So it should attempt to boot this disk and then clean the drive. I should plug in the computer, and then we can hopefully boot an operating system and then test the high-res board before we button the case back up, which I have to decide how I want to handle the RF shield after that. All right, this is a DMK converted with HXC to Cryoflex raw streams, written with the Grease Weasel. Let's see if this boots. I'm not particularly optimistic. It is always a nightmare to write TRS-80 boot disks. No way! Oh, yes! Okay, that's the high-res boot disk there, okay? Okay, it's apparently DIR. Okay, we got drive 1, too. Okay, so we want, on this, list, speed, copy, fractals. Fractals. That's not looking quite right. Hold on, let's try booting the other one. Let's try booting the fractals disk. Aha! Okay. Fractals. Oh, okay. Here we go. Maybe Mandelbrot, press, just go. Oh my gosh, it's working. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, we can do better than this. That's proof that it works, okay? So we're gonna stop it there, all right? Because we're gonna let that run at some point fully. So we can call that working and we can reassemble it now, which is the scary part. So that's what we need to do next. So here's what I'm doing for insulating the high-res board from the RF shield before I put it back on. These are the most pronounced chips on here. So this is some polyimide or Kapton tape to act as kind of more of a protective layer. They don't really need to be insulated from conducting because it's the plastic shell of the chip. It's not going to do anything, but this will at least prevent it from rubbing too badly. Now I'm going to reattach this. First, what I'm going to do is put the screw that goes over here back in just by itself, because I'm going to have it under the RF shield, right? Because I can't get it to squeeze around to that. So I'm going to bend that out slightly so I can go over it. And then I will have these screws here attached, and then that won't be. So this just presses up against it, but it's not like fully attached. All right. That should all be good. Oh gosh, now the awful part. All right, here is the light back on over the rear, and I'm going to put the case on and try not to snap the neck. This is the angle you want to look at over the drive, basically at this cable, to be able to see the neck as you put it on. So realistically, what you want to do is you want to hook the back of the case onto this and kind of pull it towards you as you set it down. That will mostly keep you safe, but yeah, you really want to pay attention here. So there, you can see the neck sliding in front of the board. I hate this so much. There we go. Down fully. Ugh. My primary mission was accomplished. I didn't kill the CRT while opening it. That was the main thing I wanted to do today. Okay, I'm gonna hang the edge over the side as I put the screws back in, because I really don't feel like putting it on its side right now. All right, I'm putting that Mandelbrot disc back into here to boot. And let's fire it up. Oh, that's so awesome. Fractals. All right, here we go. Oh, that is so, so cool. Oh my gosh, that's such fine detail. This is magic. I'm gonna go write a game disc. I think the next pass that it's gonna do is going to be per pixel. I kind of want to see. I think it's cleaning this up, and then the next one is per pixel. Yeah, that last one was every 2 pixels. Oh my gosh. That's so good. It's bananas. Oh man. I'm popping out the Mandelbrot disc and I'm putting in a 3D checkers disc. So let's try this. Okay. So it is TTT3D. One for high res 640, 240. Oh, it's 3D tic-tac-toe, not checkers. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's sharp. Dude, that's ridiculous. Wow. Okay, this probably doesn't seem all that impressive for like, it's 1984, but like, wow, man. So if I go there, you just gonna let me have this? No, okay, so that would have been a 4-way across planes. All right, we're making progress. So I'm gonna go here, and then it'll move there. Yep. This is not bad, actually. I thought I was one move away from winning. Okay. This is pretty sweet. Let's try one more time. Not saying I'm gonna win. Tic-tac-toe is not known for being a game that you can just win. I don't think this is a fun game to play against a computer because the computer can process all possibilities at once a lot quicker and easier than a human can. This is more fun against a human because it's confusing. I'm also realizing this is like way longer than normal tic-tac-toe, but it's also the exact same strategy, so it's not really that exciting. I don't think I'm gonna try this anymore. It is just mostly confusing and not very fun. It's not really a logic game. It's not like chess where you have different strategies. It's always just try and align something or block the other person. So, meh. Well, that is my TRS-80 Model 4, now with matching correct floppy drives. These are technically double-sided drives, so also I should try and figure out if I can use those on it. I think a later version of Tristos can, because I think the controller is capable of it, but most TRS-80 Model 4s would have only ever had single-sided drives, so I'm not 100% sure about that. But that's something I can look into. But the high-res board is in and working beautifully. That's so really cool to see. And now I'm done opening this thing. I should never have to go back into it. Knock on wood, fingers crossed, because that's always hair raising. I hope you guys enjoyed this look at making my Model 4 the best that it can be. I know it's really dirty, but if you haven't experienced one of these things, it's got this awful paint texture on it that's impossible to clean without damaging it. I will need to clean this up a little bit, but I want to figure out exactly how I want to do that, and that was not today's objective, so I will have to do that at another time, but I am still exceedingly happy with this. So again, if you enjoyed this look at making this Model 4 the best that it can be, you may want to subscribe to be notified when I release another video like this. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon, but for now, that's it, and I'll see you next time.